All right. Hey guys, welcome back. Another week into May. Can you believe it? We are into May. So you guys are going to be wrapping up your school year pretty quick. What are you guys, like the 18th or 16th? Pretty soon here in a couple weeks. Please finish strong, right? And I think that's the toughest part right now, especially with this quarantine. The situation we're in is probably distractions and laziness and apathy. I just urge you guys to finish as strong as you can, to really prepare for however many AP exams you guys have, because that's the end of it, right? Once you guys take those tests, you're done. Okay. All right. So today's video should be pretty quick. It is on intelligence. Again, everything here is directly tied to the AP Psych review video that I just watched. So intelligence is your ability or capacity for cognitive awareness and development, right? So it's important development, because whatever your IQ is now doesn't mean it'll be the same 5 years from now, right? And that could go either way, right? You could lose some of your intelligence from not using it, for example, or you could gain more, right, through more education, more experiences. It is expressed in different contexts: reading, math, music, the arts, science, logic and reasoning. So there's different ways you can express it, just like there's different ways you can test intelligence, right? And for you guys, AP Psych test, AP Calc test, SAT, ACT, and you test intelligence through IQ tests, and you test intelligence through your education, right? IQ is a score that reflects intelligence expressed in certain contexts, right? So your IQ test that you guys take, they're not going to consider all avenues of intelligence. No one is taking an IQ test that involves them creating art, involves them creating music, right? Or anything with coordination or being able to control your body. So IQ tests, the IQ score they give you, it just reflects that test, okay? Factor analysis, and kind of an important term here. Factor analysis is the complex statistical technique that finds the relationship between different items, okay? IQ tests will use factor analysis. This helps create IQ tests, intelligence tests, standardized tests. So they basically come up with, content that should be known, and they are able to create a relationship between how many people should know this, what level of people should know this. Only the highly intelligent should know the answer to this question. So they use factor analysis to come up with, the Stanford-Binet test, the WAIS test, the SATs and ACTs, stuff like that. Okay, Charles Spearman, he had this theory of G, okay, the letter G. It stands for general intelligence. And again, this is something he thought could be expressed in different avenues. Where there is above ability or above average ability in X, there is probably also above average ability in Y, okay? So those of you guys who are in AP Psych, you're probably in AP Calc, right? Those of you guys who are in AP Calc, you have probably also taken AP Chem, right? Or AP Physics. So those of you guys who are really smart in reading and writing, probably also pretty smart in math, right? And you're probably also pretty smart in science, right? So, it's just this idea, right, that it's not just are you mathematically intelligent, it's that you have a high level of G, general intelligence. And that shows up in your English 4 class, and that shows up in your ability to pick up foreign language, and that shows up in Mr. Conklin's class and Washko's class. Okay, so fluid intelligence, always fluid intelligence. That is logic, that is your ability to explain and rationalize, that is problem solving, that is identifying patterns, solving puzzles. Are you good at checkers? Are you good at chess? Stuff like that. Fluid. It is always able to improve, right? The older you get, across time, you have developed, and that basically just means as you continue to develop, your intelligence is fluid. It is changing. All right, crystallized intelligence. Accumulation of knowledge, experiences, and skills throughout lifetime, okay? So your crystallized intelligence is something you have picked up, something you have gained from prior learning, from prior experiences, and this will increase with age. So crystallized is kind of like, your fluid intelligence, but maybe more from a traditional educational setting, right? So more your reading, your math ability, your vocab, the terminology you use in casual conversations, and a little less so creativity, thinking outside the box and stuff like that. Fluid, you come across a new problem that you have zero previous experience or knowledge of. You're able to handle that situation. You're able to answer that problem. You're able to come up with potential solutions, okay? Even though you don't have previous knowledge or previous experience like crystallized intelligence, fluid means you can kind of think on your feet. You can figure it out, right? You can be creative. You can think outside the box. Okay, Alfred Binet, the Binet-Simon test is going to be the first one. Compare a child's average score, child's average ability of children that age, right? So they get the Stanford Simon test, gives a child a test, right? And at the end of that test, they are able to compare that, right, to the average of every other kid that age who has taken it, right? So you're essentially able to now label a kid as average, above average, or below average. The Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. Before I get there, the Stanford Binet, which is the more, it's the more popular one, probably because it's the more modern. But Stanford Binet just kind of enhanced and built upon the Stanford Simon. And so that's probably why. I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's just they learned from mistakes and they improved it. The WAIS, the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, 15 subtests, gives general score, gives subtest score, gives kind of your overall score, like your composite on the ACT. WAIS, verbal, logic and reasoning, working memory, processing speed. I mean, it tests a lot. It is a very highly respected intelligence test. But again, I mean, you're not creating art. You're not showing off your musical ability or kinesthetic ability. All right, the triarchic theory of intelligence, that is from Sternberg. Analytical, creative, and practical. The Daniel, what's the next one here? Emotional intelligence. That is basically just assessing one's own self-awareness, one's empathy, one's cooperation, one's self-control. You have Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, which I believe is on the exam review, but 8 forms: verbal, math, spatial, body, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. We talked about this in class, but this is kind of, I don't want to say this like a participation trophy, like, hey, if you don't read well or if you don't do math well, you could be naturalistic, or you could be good with your body, or you could have interpersonal. I mean, it just shows that, intelligence is far more complex than just, the grades you get in school or the tests you get on some standardized tests, right? So kids who do that might have terrible social skills, or might have terrible interpersonal intelligence, or they might not be able to play any instrument whatsoever, or walk and chew gum at the same time. So Gardner just identifies 8 forms of intelligence that he thinks should be studied and should be assessed, and not just, traditional classroom settings. All right, that's it for today. Pay attention to Google Classroom. I will post this. I'm also going to post, about 5 questions for you, and we will have a Zoom meeting on Wednesday. All right, guys, see you.